Welcome to FDS MTG News for Wednesday, February 15th, 2023. I'm going to MagicCon Philly. I'll be there on Friday all day, and I'll probably be floating around the lobby a bit on Saturday and early Sunday. So if you see me, come say hi. Are you going to MagicCon Philly? Well, if so, here are some quick tips that are good to know. And a lot of this is going to seem like common sense, and it is. But, sometimes we all need a reminder every now and again. So yeah. If you aren't going to the event, or any event, for a while and don't really care, skip to the timestamp on your screen to get the rest of the show. Try to get there early, and that's for everything. Door opening, an event beginning, lines for an artist. There will be lines. This is life now. If you run into a content creator or other person you interact with on social media on a regular basis, introduce yourself with both your actual name and your social media handle. It is possible they still may not remember you, but it is helpful to give them as much info as possible. Also, maybe don't dive in for a hug or handshake out of the blue. Conventions have been super spreaders of disease for years. The PaxPox was a thing way before COVID, and some folks may not want to get too touchy-feely. Ask first, and if they say no, offer an elbow bump, and if they still say no, that's okay. And along the same lines, if someone you want to meet seems to be off in a corner on their own or on their phone, leave them be. They might be taking a minute for themselves, or maybe they're having a private conversation, but maybe wait for them to come back to the crowds before you try and engage with them. Oh, and real quick, ask before taking pictures of people. I mean, if you're taking pictures of the entire space or recording a video of the convention hall as a whole and people are in the shot, well, that's fine. Everybody agreed to that in the terms of service for attending the event, at least at most events. But I mean when taking a picture of a specific person or a group of specific people, or getting a photo with a specific person or group of people. Ask first, and again, they may say no, and that's okay. Yeah, you don't get your picture, but they will appreciate that you asked and respected their wishes when they said no. That, I think, is more important. And yes, this may seem obvious, but if you are surreptitiously taking pictures of someone, even if that someone is famous or well-known in the niche, that's creepy. Stop it. If there's something you want to purchase at the event, and you know it's going to be something that a lot of people want, try and grab it early. If it's a hot enough item, it will sell out before midday Saturday. Keep track of your stuff. I like to keep all my stuff in one bag, and then I keep track of it. My specific backpack has some security features that make this a little easier to manage. Full review coming out later on this month. Drink plenty of water and plan a little on how you're going to get food. There is a great food place across the street from the convention center called Reading Terminal Market. This is eons better than what Magic 30 had, which was nothing, across the street anyway. But don't settle for the lukewarm convention center chicken tendies. Go get a pretzel at Miller's, or a cheesesteak from one of the many restaurants I'm sure is serving them there. Lines for the artists will be long. At Magic 30, some lines were 1 to 2 hour wait times, and MagicCon Philly is supposed to be twice as big in terms of capacity. Also, when you get in line, it's probably a good idea to have a deck and a playmat with you so you can get in a couple of games while you wait. If you are looking to pick up a high-dollar card at an event, and it's not highly sought after like the tip I gave before, shop around the different booths before you decide on picking it up. Each booth will have varying prices on cards, but don't expect them to price match. I tweeted in an assist from BoA from Star City Games, and he suggested that the best course of action would be to just let the vendor know what price you would be willing to pay for the card and see if they match it. While some vendors may price match, it's unlikely, especially if it's a card they know they can move fairly easily. But in any case, check around on price. Don't just buy the first one you see. It is highly possible the events that you paid to be a part of will be delayed. Wizards have stated that they took what they learned from Magic 30 in Vegas and will be applying it here in Philly. But that was only 3.5 months ago. There's only so much they can do in that time frame, and I believe they will be using the companion app again, so I would still expect some delay. And remember, the judges and event staff are not who you should be upset with if there are issues. It is absolutely okay to be frustrated, but don't take it out on the judges and event staff. They are probably as frustrated as you are because they would really prefer all the events to go smoothly as well. Have a general idea of how you want your days to go. Know when your events are and when the panels you want to see begin, then plan around that. Make a list of things you really want to do and try to find a way to fit them in. Or not, and Just wing it. It's up to you, but I like to plan because anxiety is a thing and I have it. And finally, it's okay to rest. Take a minute, especially if you need to get away from the crowd. Find a corner and relax, get a drink, and look at all the cool stuff you bought, maybe open a pack or two, and think about how much fun you've had so far. Have a safe trip. Phyrexia All Will Be One has officially released, and so far it seems Wizards' run of each set selling better than the last will continue, as many local game stores have reported running out of stock. How did your pre-release and release events go? Did you get any good pulls? Let me know in the comments down below. Bank of America has once again come out and said Hasbro is continuing to destroy customer goodwill when it announced that it would rate Hasbro stock as underperform again. In the statement Bank of America made on Tuesday, February 7th, they noted that Wizards was over-monetizing Magic and was attempting to do the same with its move to update the open gaming license for Dungeons & Dragons, a move they have since walked back. It referenced their previous statement where they noted that customers, distributors, and local game stores had a growing frustration with Hasbro as they overprint Magic cards to prop up short-term earnings, but would harm the long-term outlook. And while I agree it is nice to have the talk around the LGS be validated by a so-called outside source that is supposed to be an expert in these things, I feel I have to emphasize that this is coming from Bank of America. This isn't like our big bro stepping in to protect us and stop the bully from taking our lunch money. This is like another older, more learned bully telling Hasbro to slow down and not beat us up too much and let us keep a little bit of our money, or we, the consumer, might not come back tomorrow to willingly be beat up again. Lovesack Baby Lovesack. It's a Magic Lovesack Baby. Lovesack officially announced their collaboration with Magic. If you were at the Magic 30 event, you would have seen the Magic Lovesack sitting in the middle of the showroom floor. If you are unfamiliar with the Lovesack, it's a gigantic beanbag chair, like one of those huge ones where you still struggle a lot to get out of, but you just aren't as close to the floor. This one looks like it's had Magic cards spilled all over it, and it costs $975. Just a quick pro tip if you want to save some money: buy a sumo for a quarter of the price and hot glue gun some Magic cards to it. That'll work. It looks cheap, but so does this Lovesack. I'm sure it's extremely comfortable, and if it's your thing, hey, go get one, they're available now. But I personally am going to stick with furniture I can actually get out of. This week in Magic, we have something a little different. On February 15th in 2019, the Ravnica Allegiances Guild Kits were released. At the time, these were considered one of the best sets of pre-constructed decks Wizards had released to date. These Guild Kits were the second set, the first set being released with Guilds of Ravnica a few months prior. The guilds included were Azorius, Orzhov, Rakdos, Gruul, and Simic. These decks included cards from the most recent Ravnica set, Ravnica Allegiances, but also from previous Ravnica sets. The standout reprints from the Ravnica Allegiances kits were Udvara Hellkite, Birds of Paradise, and Rakdos, Lord of Riots. The decks are surprisingly fun to play and are very well balanced against one another. If you want to see an amusing glimpse into an earlier video I made, check out this video where I talk about building my Ravnica Guild Kit battle box. If you can find them for a decent price, I highly recommend you pick them up, because they are a lot of fun to play and I truly enjoy my battle box. It's one of my favorites. That about does it for today. Like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm FDS MTG on all of them. And be sure to check out my Patreon. And y'all have a wonderful day. And click on stuff. Welcome to FDS MTG News for... Forgot what day it was. And try and remember that And also, you know, don't go in for a hug. Or getting a photo with a specific person. My specific backpack has some but don't settle for the lukewarm convention setter. Know when your events are and when the panels you want to see. Phyrexia All Will Be One has officially Phyrexia All Will Be One has officially released, and so far it seems Wizards run the... Bank of America has once again come out and said Hasbro. Almost like Bank of America says, hey, don't squeeze them too hard too fast. Then they won't come around here no more, and you won't get nothing from them at all. You got that? At the time, these were considered one of the best sets of Pikachu. The decks are surprisingly fun, and are very well balanced against one another. This show is part of the CIP network, inspiring creativity, one episode at a time.